Most Christians don't realize this, but the modern church has created a version of biblical leadership that would literally disqualify the men God himself chose to lead his people. And the crazy part is, they think they're defending scripture while openly contradicting the men who wrote it. Let me show you what I mean. Today, you've got guys like Andrew Wilson telling the world that a man with more than one wife is disqualified from leadership. He points to 1 Timothy 3:2 and says it means a bishop must have only one wife. Yet the same men will turn around and say that a man like himself, who's been divorced before, or even men who've been divorced 2, 3, even 4 times, is totally fine as long as he only has one wife right now. You see the insanity in that? Under this modern interpretation, you could be divorced repeatedly. You can sleep around before marriage. You can father children out of wedlock. You can smoke, cuss on camera, and live without discipline. You can even marry a woman who has 2 living ex-husbands. And you're still qualified for leadership, like Andrew. But if you're a man with 2 wives and a peaceful home, a man who provides, protects, leads, raises children, and keeps covenant, suddenly you're the problem. Suddenly you are disqualified. It's clown world theology. And here's the biblical irony these guys cannot escape. If your interpretation of 1 Timothy 3:2 means Abraham is disqualified, Jacob is disqualified, Moses is disqualified, David is disqualified, Gideon is disqualified, your theology isn't holy. Your theology is wrong. God himself blessed these men. God himself handpicked these men. God himself established his covenant through these men. Do you understand how backwards this is? This isn't scripture, it's tradition. And tradition has flipped the Bible upside down. And that leads me to the real heart of this issue. We're living in a generation where men cheer for the wrong leaders. The Barabbas crowd is still alive and well. People will follow the loudest voice, the most sarcastic personality, the angriest Christian influencer, even if his life looks nothing like the men in Scripture. Meanwhile, the men who actually live what the Bible describes, building households, leading women, raising children, creating order, covering their families, those men are mocked, dismissed, and labeled heretics. That's the world we live in. The problem isn't polygyny. The problem is modern theology has made the wrong men heroes and the right men villains. It disqualifies the men God approved and approves the men God would have rebuked. So if you've ever looked at the church and thought, why is everything so confusing? Why do the strongest men get attacked while the least qualified get platforms? Now you know why. The crowd is still choosing Barabbas and they're calling it righteousness. If you want truth, you have to go back to the men God chose, not the men culture praises, because scripture has never changed. Only the interpretations have. If you're tired of the confusion and you want to build a family the way God actually designed it, we can help. Men, join my Man of Options program where we train you to become the kind of leader women gladly follow and, if God calls you to, gladly share. And women, my wife runs Faithful Femininity, teaching women how to walk in peace, strength, and biblical femininity in a world that's lost the plot. If you want your household to reflect scripture instead of culture, click the link and join us.